A very good morning once again from the sports desk. Sibusiso Kotelo has always wanted to be the strongest man in the world. His passion led him to be the first black South African to ever secure a pro card in bodybuilding. His goal? Well, he wants to become Mr. Olympia. The most famous holder of that title is the one and only Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, Kotelo joins me now to tell me if he really can become the next Terminator. A very good morning to you, Sbu. Thank you so much for coming through to the studio. Look, man, you could have become an accountant, a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, you could have become a broadcaster. You could be me, you know. But you decided that for a living, you want to go lift weights and chisel your body into something of great magnificence.
Thank you. Yeah.
Why?
So I actually stumbled into bodybuilding, right? I was a rugby player. I was at UCT, minding my own business. I'm actually an engineer by profession. And then in 2014, I found myself getting on stage. You know, I bumped into a guy that was doing exactly what I was doing. And he looked at me and said, listen, I think you got the physique to do bodybuilding. I didn't know what it was. And as you said, you know, he gave me a reference of Arnold, and the only reference I had of Arnold was the movies. So I Googled him, and I see Arnold's, you know, career prior to the movies. I was like, well, it's interesting. And I mean, at the time I was, you know, doing rehabilitation at the gym, and I just saw my body, you know, mutate for a bit of a lack of word, you know, and I was like, okay, cool. So if I do the nutrition, you know, I train a specific way geared towards bodybuilding, that's how I can sculpt on my body. 2014, found myself as a junior on stage and never looked back since.
You know, it's. I think a lot of people will look at it as, yeah, but you know, it's just a guy going in there, you know, drinking some whey and lifting some weights. You know, but this is an actual job. This is actual work that you need to put in.
Absolutely.
To, as you say, sculpt your body a certain way for you to be, you know, a professional firstly, and secondly, to actually win some titles out there on the circuit. What kind of work goes into you looking like this? You
know, what I normally tell a lot of people is that I don't take away any other sportmen or sportwomen, but bodybuilding for me is the only sport you do for 24 hours, right? And I say that because I watch everything I do. I watch the number of hours of sleep that I have, how much water I have, you know. I eat according to a time. So if my alarm rings, I need to sit down and eat. My body doesn't care if I'm hungry or not, you know, because it's all about the science, about getting the calories in, calories out. So for me, when people ask me that question, my answer is it takes everything, bro. Bodybuilding is such a mental sport that manifests itself in the physical, you know. You look at yourself and you're going, this is what I want to look like in about 6 to 7 months. And then you sit down and go, how can I reverse engineer the process? I've got a great team. I've got two coaches, Jack Lotta and Joshua. You know, so they sit down with the great minds and we sit down and we have a roadmap. You know, this is how we want to look like in the next 14 or 16 weeks and how can we get there? And as I said, it's a 24-hour job because if I'm not training, I'm recovering. If I'm not recovering, I'm with my sports doctor or my sports massage therapist, or I'm in my chiro. So I have a team basically that works 24/7 to make sure that this is the physique that we obviously sculpting to make sure that we win international titles.
When you sit down and watch eNCA to catch up on some news, when does Sibusiso Kotelo actually sit down and do nothing that has to do with bodybuilding?
Look, we get two sides of bodybuilding. So there's called off-season and on prep, right? So I've currently started my prep for my next show. But then off-season, I do have a bit of a life. It's a strange life, man. You know, it's strange because I think we spoke about it earlier off air that there's certain things I can and cannot do because, you know, as I said, I watch the number of hours that I sleep. So if you're going to find me partying at night, it means I've circumvented my recovery for sleep. And then it also means I might have to push certain things out the next day because I have to be at the gym at a certain time, training with, you know, my first coach. And then at a certain time, I'm training with my second coach, you know. So it becomes, bodybuilding for me is a lifestyle more than it is a sport. You know, yes, it's a sport because, you know, it's a profession, I'm a pro, but for me, I think it's a lifestyle. Your whole lifestyle changes and gears towards this is what I'm doing.
What happens if you eat a cheeseburger at 11:30 in the morning because, I don't know, you're hungover from a really good night before? You're not supposed to be hungover. You're not supposed to have gone out the night before and consumed what you did. You're not supposed to be eating a cheeseburger.
Sure.
You talk about circumventing your entire process. What happens when you do that? You're having a cheeseburger at 11 o'clock. Or better yet, you're having chicken wings, you know, with some hot sauce at 11:30 that you're not supposed to be doing. What happens if you do that? And if you can, how do you bounce back?
Look, in an ideal world, I'm not supposed to, right? But we're human. You know, we slip. Knowing my coach, he'll just add more cardio to my training repertoire. But on a physiology perspective, you know, I always tell my clients, you know, because I also am a personal trainer, is that whatever you do to cheat, you know, cheat on your diet, just know that you've shaved off about a week off your goal. You know, and that's the reality, because that's how. And for me, when I sit down with my clients, I explain science. I haven't reinvented the wheel. You know what I mean? I'm just here to I regurgitate science, basically. So if you're going to sit down, have a cheat meal, go out with your friends, binge, drink, whatever the case may be, I always tell my clients that whatever date we had set for our goal, you just shifted it back about a week. And that's just the reality of the human body.
I'm going to pop in two questions because my technical director is going to bite my ear off. You know, broadcasting is what it is with time. My first one is the misconceptions about bodybuilding and being a strong man. You know, I want to call it being a strong man because because there is an incredible amount of strength, mentally also, that goes into what it is you do. But secondly, you know, what do you want to leave the South African public with where the Sibusiso Kotelo brand is concerned? So I want to start off with the misconceptions about what it is you do. And what you want to leave people with in terms of impression.
Look, I mean, I think the first misconception is we come across as aggressive, and you know what, it's seen as a violent sport, but which it's not. You know, we are just people that have a different lifestyle. You know, we are people that would look at food as a source of building a physique, less than maybe enjoyment, as you know, as normal people would. You know, there's a lot of other misconceptions in terms of how we gear our minds, in terms of, you know, we think a certain way, which it's true in a certain extent in getting a champion mentality, yes, but we're ordinary people that just have a single-minded goal of where we want to go. And it's just about making sure that you're directing yourself towards that goal. And also, you know, we fall part of a team. I mean, I'm part of the Raobi One-Quid crew. You know, having that kind of team as well actually helps, knowing that you're not the only one going through, you know, a prep or going through a season, whatever the case may be. In terms of Sibusiso Kotelo, I was fortunate enough, as you said, becoming the first black IFBB pro. My legacy, I think I don't want to be the only one. You know, I feel that now that I've been able to do it, I've now given you the roadmap that it's possible. For me, I'd like to see more guys coming into the industry, more guys turning this into a profession, because I've now shown that it's possible. You know, and wanting to reach the highest echelons of the sport is also showing that, you know, my journey has just started. I'm yet to, you know, I'm at the cusp of, you know, making it big. And for me, it's just about saying, listen, it is possible. It's also an idea of saying that you can have brains and also do bodybuilding. Because ironically, the other misconception is that, you know, we're not the smartest tool around. So it's about breaking those barriers.
Look, I don't have the beard, but I do have the height. I may not have the muscle, but I do have the brains as well. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to show you just how big I am compared to the first black IFBB bodybuilder in the world. I'm going to ask you to come and stand here so we can showcase just how strong you and I both are in terms of physique. This is a man that is... Oh yeah, my technical director in my ear is like, hey! That is Oya Machieto. This is a man that is looking to become the next Mr. Olympia. To essentially become not the next, but the best. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look at that. Look at that. He is he's two me's in one. That's him. Sibusiso, thank you so much.
Thank
it
you
is
so
such
much.
a pleasure.
Really
and all the
appreciate
best with what it is you're trying to do.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure speaking to you today. That is
Thank you so much.
Sibusiso Kotelo, of course. He is a professional bodybuilder. He is a muscle man, and he is, and I'm putting it out there to the universe, from my lips to God's ears, the next Mr. Olympia.